It's my pleasure this evening to welcome Archbishop Longley, Archbishop of Birmingham, to the shrine of the miraculous relic image of Our Lady of Guadalupe at the Church of the Holy Child and St. Joseph in the town of Bedford, just under 60 miles from London in England. Good evening, Your Grace.
Good evening, Claire.
Archbishop Longley, what is the connection between the relic image displayed and venerated at the Basilica in Mexico and the miraculous relic image placed here in the shrine in Bedford and taken on pilgrimage tour throughout Great Britain?
Well, I think very central to this question is the vision of Pope St. John Paul II. You'll remember that he visited Mexico and prayed at the shrine in Guadalupe in 1979. And it was the Holy Father's intention that this devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe should be shared much more widely. And so it was made possible through the reproduction of this image. I believe there were some 220 images which were reproduced, and each one of them was placed next to the original image on the cloak of Saint Juan Diego. And as it touched it, it's our belief within the Catholic Church that anything that touches a sacred relic is also a relic in itself, and that it carries with it the same access to the graces and the blessings which pilgrims seek when they go actually to Guadalupe, to Our Lady's shrine itself. So we believe that all those who come to venerate the miraculous relic image also have access to the same blessings.
You can probably hear that some pilgrims have begun to arrive this evening here in Bedford, ready for our celebration. Our Lady of Guadalupe, though, is patroness of the Americas. Why do you feel she appears to have a growing importance to Catholic people in the United Kingdom, Europe, and the wider world?
Well, I think that I'm delighted that we do have a national shrine here in Bedford, and I know that that's something which is a great source of blessing to this diocese, and I was speaking only recently to Bishop Peter Doyle about it. But there is a real sense in which those great shrines, pilgrimage shrines across the world, are really of universal significance. And so it is, I think, with Our Lady of Guadalupe, patroness of the Americas, but also, given the particular focus of devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe, with its concern for all those who are in need, and in particular the concern for life, which we associate this image. So I think it's very natural that devotion has spread throughout the world, and I was delighted when the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe was introduced into the universal calendar on this day, the 12th of December. Previously, as you know, it was the feast day of St. Jane Frances de Chantal, but this feast of Our Lady was introduced worldwide. And I think Our Lady of Guadalupe has the power to touch people's hearts and to open up a new vision of what is really important in coming close to Mary, the Mother of the Lord, with her particular compassion for the child in her own womb, the eternal Son of God born to us, but also with that compassion for all those who are weak and vulnerable.
25,000 pilgrims attended this year's national tour pilgrimage. How do you feel that visiting or venerating the relic image can benefit those pilgrims who do make the visit? Why come to the shrine in Bedford, for example?
Well, going on pilgrimage is important for all of us. It's not possible for everybody to travel to Guadalupe, to Mexico. It's not possible for everybody to go to the Holy Land or even to Lourdes and Fatima, though increasingly people do make that journey. But to have shrines within our own nation actually has a twofold blessing. It enables people who may find the longer journeys much more taxing to come, to be together at a place of pilgrimage and prayer. But also it brings particular blessings to those locations as well, so that this association now between Our Lady of Guadalupe and Bedford is something which is fixed in people's understanding, and I think that the pilgrimage here will increase with the years.
How is the miraculous relic image relevant in today's world? Some people may hear this title, Our Lady of Guadalupe, may hear about the shrine. What's its relevancy for today?
Well, you mentioned, Claire, the pilgrimage of the Miraculous Relic Shrine image around the country, and I was very pleased when 6 years ago the image came to my own cathedral church of St Chad's in Birmingham, and it drew people over the weekend in a way which was very moving. It drew all manner of pilgrims. People had heard about it and wanted to come. Some were curious, some already knew something about this particular devotion. But I think its relevance in the world today is that this image shows the compassion of the Mother of God. And there is a real need for compassion in the world. We hear of such terrible things, which all of which stem for a disregard for human life, the value, the sanctity, and indeed the quality of life as it is lived. And I think the Jubilee Year of Mercy, which we just concluded, also was calling upon us to be aware of the need for compassion, to show compassionate love, to reach out. I believe that this devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe touches people at the point where their heart can be open, and especially to hear the call of those who are in need and to do what we can do to reach out to those. So I hope too that this tonight's Mass can be seen as part of the legacy of the Jubilee Year of Mercy as we gather here.
Building really on what you've just shared, Your Grace, Our Lady of Guadalupe has been given the title of Protectress of the Unborn. How can this relic image serve as a focus for life and the teachings of the Church in relation to life?
One very significant thing, and there's always something particular about the way in which God's grace enables an individual to receive a vision of the Mother of God. The Holy Spirit is always at work wherever Our Lady has appeared, at work in the life of the individual, and in this case, as we know, for St Juan Diego, but also present within the particular message. And I believe it's significant that the image of Our Lady was set upon the cloak, the tilde, of St Juan Diego. And if you think of a cloak as something which is a protective covering, there's a symbolism in that, I believe, in that just as an expectant mother offers protection to the child she carries, so the Mother of the Church offers a protecting mantle to all her children. And there's a strong devotion to Our Lady under that image, I think, casting her veil over her children. Not in a sentimental sense, but the real sense that she draws us closer to one another and therefore closer to Jesus Christ, closer to the message that we find in his preaching, in his life and in the gospel. So I think Our Lady of Guadalupe is also leading us closer to the gospel, and especially to the gospel of life.
Finally, how do you feel the pilgrimage partnership between the Guardians of Our Lady of Guadalupe and the Knights of St Columba reflects the strength in cooperation between lay groups within the Church?
I think it's a wonderful example of partnership and new collaboration. For many, many years, as we know, the Knights of St Columba have been doing tremendous work locally and also at diocesan level, and indeed nationally with their campaigns in favour and support of vocations. Here at Bedford, the Guardians of the Miraculous Relic image have an opportunity through the national network of the Knights of St Columba to reach people, to reach the many councils of the Knights up and down this country and beyond. So I think it will be a very fruitful partnership, and the Knights have ways of actually sharing the message of this particular devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe much more widely.
Thank you, Archbishop Longley, for finding time in your very busy schedule to share with us today.
It's a great pleasure, Claire, and I ask Our Lady of Guadalupe's prayers for your work, and especially for this shrine here in Bedford.
Thank you, Your Grace.